What's up, everyone? It's good to be here to see all of you. Man, we're kind of creating a new tradition twice in a week. But I know Kristen and I are grateful to be together. And, the whole goal, we put together that call with Eric Uorre, and I headphones on, but they weren't actually plugged in. So I was just talking. Let's see. Can you hear me okay still? Yeah? Okay, great. All right. So we put together that call with Eric Uorre, and super grateful for Eric. Maybe if you want to, I'll open up my chat here so that we can see. But if you want to just share in the chat real quick to kind of kick us off, what you liked the most just hearing from Eric, like what stood out to you, what I don't know, what impressed you the most? I'd love to hear kind of some of your guys' thoughts. I know for Kirsten and I, having somebody like Eric who has his perspective, being able to see what's going on in the industry and being able to lead us, I think, really, I think many of us kind of have leaders that are, maybe sometimes we don't feel like our leaders have all the answers, right? And I know for Kirsten and I, the last few years, we've been kind of trying to figure out what the answers are and what different things to test out and try. And some of them have worked, and we're going to talk about some of those tonight. But the real purpose of this call is to really collaborate. There's a few points, kind of things that I have done to organize tonight, but the goal is to collaborate. And then the second goal is really to help you have a really clear idea of what process you want to use when you participate in the challenge on Saturday. So seeing some of the comments here gave me hope for a new direction. Like Jeannie, that was Jeannie, spoke genuinely. So glad you recognized Doterra as a top-notch company. Casey, it's the first thing that has made sense to me in a long time. Been scrambling, yeah, for sure. The diaper analogy. Afterwards, Laura Jacobs was texting us a picture of a toothpaste bottle, like that was all squeezed out. So those analogies obviously struck a chord with people. But anyway, so those are some of the goals. And so I'm going to share my screen in a second, but I want you to maybe also post in the comments, like, what specific part of doTERRA do you love the most, like of building the business, right? What part of building doTERRA, your doTERRA business, do you love the most? And what do you feel like is the biggest struggle for you right now? So I think just so that we can all kind of, I think it's so important that when you look to find solutions to problems, that you can be as super real as possible, right? Like, I think sometimes we come to doTERRA events and doTERRA trainings, and maybe it's not corporate's job to, talk about all the problems. Like, it's our job. Like, they do a really great job making sure that commissions are paid, products are amazing, company culture. It's our job to kind of resolve some of those challenges. So changing lives with health and wealth. Love the most the community, the heart of doTERRA. I like the oil speak for themselves. Community is awesome. What also do you feel like right now in your business is the biggest struggle, right? Like, what do you feel the most confused about? Or what do you have the biggest struggle with? I think it's important to love in-person presentations, Bailey is saying. Contacting, finding real builders, lost all my builders, feels like the game has changed. Let's see, true leaders, launching new builders, right? So finding and launching new builders. I'll share my screen here. And Kirsten, if you have something that you want to share as well, you're more than welcome to. But I wanted to just kind of share my screen and kind of share a few of the thoughts prepared, and then we can kind of divide this up into a couple different conversations, and we can talk about it. You can share your thoughts on what's working and or ideas, and we can kind of go from there. But again, collaborate, find answers, and plan. I think it's so important. As I was preparing to because we kind of put this together like during the Erika Uorre call, we thought to ourselves, man, if we're all here together, we can't let everyone just go their separate ways and let all this energy fizzle out, right? We wanted to bring everyone back together again. And as I was thinking about that, I think that it's so important, right, to bring us back to why we are all here. I know for me personally, the moment that I knew that Doterra was going to be a really big part of our lives was not when I saw my wife's blue diamond check. Okay, that it was way before that. Okay, actually, the first time was when I attended convention and I heard David Sterling speak, and I knew the minute that I heard David Sterling speak that I would be willing to follow him and the owners and this mission and everything. I would be willing to follow them. That this is something that we could do, and so I don't know what that moment was for you, but maybe why don't you comment so that we can kind of get to know everyone's reasons. But what was the moment for you? When did you say, hey, you know what? I can follow Doterra. I can follow the owners. I love this mission. Maybe it was when co-impact sourcing was introduced, but maybe type in the chat what it was for you. Okay. And I promise we're going to get to the strategy and to all the tactical things. I think that's kind of probably what's on most people's mind. But attending convention, right? 2017, Carissa says, Jennifer Davis attending convention, the products. So just kind of want to get centered on that. The other thing that I wanted to do is kind of recognize where we have kind of been, where we've been the last little while. And it starts with this Doterra and ourselves, right? We love the mission, the product, the oils. We've been taking action, whether it's like action marketing or attraction marketing. We've been sampling, teaching classes. We've had empowered success, the business builder guide, the certifications, like all these things in that realm. We have all the social media stuff as well. So we've been taking action, and then we've been seeing the impact, right, in income, which we typically measure through lives changed, leaders developed, rank and compensation. And the challenge, though, that I think a lot of us have felt is that we love Doterra, but based on the results, like it starts to kind of tweak our belief a little bit. And then when we go back out and we take action, we say to ourselves, well, shoot, I really love Doterra, but I don't know if, teaching a million classes or being on social media constantly, I don't know if that's what I want to do. It doesn't really seem like that's what I want to do. And we start carrying this belief, right? And all of a sudden our impact, you can see here, my team isn't growing anymore, right? Or my income is not what it was. But guess what? Convention is coming.
Kyle,
and I love Doterra. So
can you make the screen bigger?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Let me make sure. Let's see. Let's see what happens when we go like this. Okay, I'm going to reclaim host. Just go full screen.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's really awesome. We just want to see it better.
So and maybe if you couldn't see it, but again, the point is, without going through each of these portions, is that I think for a little while, a lot of us have been we've been falling back on our love for Doterra, and that is what has continued to keep us right in this cycle. And the hope is, and I know Doterra Corporate has been doing so much, right? The refer a friend program, and they are all about this, kind of helping us really come out of this cycle, right? And so anyway, this is just, I think it's important to feel validated, important that I think all of us have experienced some of the plateau and the decline and trying to figure out what's going on. And so, really from this conversation today, again, the goal is, one, decide on the process that you are going to use. And we'll talk about a couple of them that we use or that people use now. So decide on the process and then create an accountability group. I think that one of the most important things, and you can either find people on this call that you want to be in an accountability group, or find people on your team that are going to be attending the challenge with you on Saturday. Whatever you have to do, create a group of 3 or 4 people that can create a high level of accountability. And maybe there's some consequences, right? A little while ago, a friend and I, we had a fitness challenge, and the loser had to go surf in a bikini. And the consequences were, luckily nobody had to surf in a bikini, okay? But the consequences were high enough to make sure that we took action. And so unless you have consequences and accountability in these groups, it's just too easy to escape some of that. So those are kind of the assignments. And really, we wanted to kind of we're going to divide up this conversation tonight basically into action and attraction marketing. And so when I say action marketing, I kind of mean our typical normal process that we currently use. So why don't you comment if right now, I guess we could have 3 categories, right? But comment right now if the way that you are building your business right now is kind of through action marketing. You are proactively making a list, calling people, making an invitation to a class, teaching a class either one-on-one or teaching a class in a group, and enrolling people. How many of you, that is what you are currently doing? And if you want to, maybe you can put a 1 if you are currently doing that. If you're not doing that, you can put a 0, I guess. But just to kind of get an idea of how many of us are, this is what we love, right? This is where we live, and it's what we love. Let me open up the chat here. So most people, right, or a lot of people, okay, the other way that this is done is through attraction marketing, right? And that is through creating content that adds value, having conversations on social media, inviting those people to take action, getting an email address or having them come fill out a survey or sending samples or whatever it might be, and then having them enroll. How many of you are doing it this way? We'll say, why don't you put a number 2 in the comments if you're spending more of your time doing more of the attraction marketing, right? And the action and the attraction do go together, right? Because you have to have conversations, you have to be proactive. But these are kind of the 2 sides that we're going to talk about tonight. The action marketing, right? Which is, our traditional pipes that we have learned, that we love, that helps us keep everything organized. Teaching classes, natural solutions class, inviting people to classes, and the attraction marketing, which we'll talk about as well, which sometimes can feel kind of frustrating. It can make you never want to get on social media again. It can be a lot of things. And I'll just say, and I put this down in the corner, I think the majority, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the majority of the Founders 2.0 and the Founders 1.0 have actually all done it this traditional way, right? How many founders do we have here on the call? I saw Wendy. Yeah, I see Jeannie Widener. Why don't you comment if you are a founder and the way that you became founder was through action marketing, through the traditional pipes, teaching classes, right? And that is kind of what you focused on. Okay. So I see Mindy. So be careful. Now we know where all the founders are. So we're gonna call on you, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit. So why don't we pause here and let's, I think, have a discussion about what is working really well and what is working really well in this class realm or in the traditional realm. Anybody want to? I'm just gonna kind of call on Nicole, since I see you, Nicole Almeida there. Nicole, as you looked at going for Founders 2.0 and you approached it through this we'll call the traditional method. What were the things that worked really well for you, and what were the things that didn't work well for you?
Okay. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I've always, since day one, I've always done action marketing. I am really bad at attraction marketing. I'm on social media, but I haven't quite dove into that side of things. I would love to, but action has always been the way that I've done this business. I did Diamond Club way back, I think 2017 or 2018. And after doing Diamond Club the first time, of course, with Diamond Club, you have, just all your requirements for classes and enrollments. And I pretty much, when I finished Diamond Club, I did hit Diamond. And I never really stopped. I kind of just made it like my mission to kind of just continue with Diamond Club, even though I wasn't actually doing Diamond Club. And so it's always been, teaching and enrolling. I'm really good at pipes. That's what I'm really good at, but I would love to learn more about attraction marketing, right? Because I know it works. That's not been my sweet spot. So. Oh, wait, I can't hear anyone. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sorry, that was just me.
You were muted. Okay.
Yeah. So I think one of the questions that a lot of people, like, we just had Jessica Moultrie on a team call. Before that, we had Amber Drake on a team call. And I think it's really important for everyone to hear, because there's a lot of people that maybe wanted to be Founder 2.0 that felt like it was overwhelming or didn't for whatever reason. When you sat down and you planned that out, what did it look like? And did you sit down, make a new list of names, start calling all of those people, inviting them to classes that you had, sampling to them, just kind of the traditional? Did you teach a specific, just a natural solutions class? What do you feel like was different or worked better or worse in that process? And I'm gonna actually call on Wendy. So be ready. If you're a founder, you better be ready.
I guess. I did things a little bit different. I wanted to attract leaders. And so I brought on new leaders to work with their market. And so we were teaching a lot of natural solutions classes. I needed points I couldn't get my own points because I was already a Blue Diamond. So I had to bring on leaders. So recruiting was my game plan there. So I brought on new leaders, worked with them, taught the natural solutions kit, taught multiple classes in order to help my leaders, and supported them in the process of their rankings too.
And what was the conversations you had to find those leaders? Like, where did you start searching online? Did you go through people that have been on your diamond list for a while? What did you do to find those people?
At that time, I had to build a brand new leg. So I was looking for brand new people that wanted to partner with me in my business and my growth. And some of them had the goals of founders, their intentions. Like we launched with founders. And so we talked a lot about that. It was for some people and not for others. Unfortunately, some of them didn't make it. But that was kind of the goal for them. So when I was recruiting, it was building a business, but also in the same time, some of them were working for founders too at the same time. So I utilized that as like a tool in the process of building their business.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I'll share that Wendy has communicated as well, and I see Catherine asking this and asking, where did you find them? One of the things that Jessica shared as well was that, when she decided to, and I don't know if she's on here and she could speak for herself, but when she decided to go founder and she knew how many points that she needed, she completely made a new list and put everyone on that list that she could, and basically told herself that she had to call and talk to physically on the phone 5 of those people every single day. And the conversation that she had with them was something to the effect of, hey, I have this really unique opportunity in Doterra to become a founder. And my goal is to help a few people also become founders. I love to explain, what that means. But basically, when you have something like Founder, when you have something like a rank, or you can use that to create urgency and having an authentic conversation about what your goal is and if they want to work with you in accomplishing that goal. Was there anything in particular, Wendy, that you shared with people, your story, or what did it sound like when you invited somebody brand new to look at doing the business with you?
I still do this, and we're just on a little massive recruiting thing now. But when I'm looking for a new builder, I think one of the things, and I love that avenue, and is finding people in their network. One of the things that I do is I want to partner with them. I want them to be my business partner. And so I'm looking for people that are interested in a business opportunity. I present to them like they are being interviewed. So I'm like, I love the things about you, whether it's about, whatever, like top 5 things that I really love about that person. I go to them, and I'm very open now. I think in the years past, I was like, I'll take anybody. But now I'm like, I want those people that want to work with me side by side with me. And when I get in that mode of like, okay, who am I going to partner with, what they look like, I do a lot of like talking, and I think you guys gave me this a long time ago, like recording of what they look like and how it's gonna be in my organization, and I talk about it to myself all the time, and then those people they end up showing up in my life. But I'll put it out there, like social media was my last, just recently. I did a recruiting program with a coach that I'm working with. And, I started putting it out there, and 5 people showed up. And I was just literally talking about, what am I doing? How am I doing it? Where am I going? Passive income. I'm not promising the world. I did that years ago. I enabled people years ago, but literally saying, I'm looking for a partner that looks like this. And if that's you, let's have a conversation. It's no obligation if they choose to take it or not. But I'm releasing the concept that if they don't want it, that's totally fine too. I'm going to find someone else.
I love that. I love hearing the confidence in your voice as well. I think that's a big part of it. Mindy Rouser, also, I wanted to kind of ask you, like, also recently or been founder for a little while. But first off, congratulations. But what when you approach this idea of becoming a founder, recruiting new builders, I know that you had mentioned in the comments that it was traditional marketing, right? Just kind of not waiting for people, sampling, teaching classes. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, a lot of the same things that were just said by Wendy and also by Laura in the comments, and also Jessica. Jessica's my upline. So when she said in April we're doing this, I'm like, oh, what do we do? Okay, let's do this. And it was, for me, I'd been hiding behind social media, like thinking if I was just posting things, I was doing the business. And it literally, like, I had to pick up the phone and not think about it and dial before I knew what I was going to say. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dialed. And so I did have that list, and I think I worked myself up, and so I don't talk to people. But it's been maybe 5 years since I really hit it hard or did anything like Diamond Club, and so I had been nurturing my warm market for a really long time. I've been showing up for them, and then I did what Wendy just said, and I said, we've been working together. I've been selling you oils for 5 years. I love how you show up. I'm looking for someone exactly like you. Have you ever thought of working with me? And then I did a lot less talking than I normally do. And I think that was a big thing too. Whoever talks next loses is kind of what I think. And then people will tell me, if they're interested or not. But I also went up to complete strangers all summer and enrolled like 36 people in June. I just started conversations because I wanted to lock down founders in 1 month. And I was like, this is really easy when you actually get out there and just the repetitive motion of doing it and not caring about if they say yes or no and not taking it personally. Then I'm like, well, that was easy. How about this person? How about this person? And I think all 36 of them were random strangers.
That's amazing. I love that. It's interesting when I think that one of the most refreshing calls that we had in the last few months was with Amber Drake. I'll have Kirsten can pipe in if she wants to about Amber. But Amber just came on and she said, hey, listen, guys, Seth and Rod teach this. And one of the reasons why we love Seth and Rod and how simple it is, Seth told me to, or she had read or watched something that I just needed to start asking 4 questions, right? Like, hey, are you open to learning about essential oils? Are you ready to start using essential oils? And I think the last one was like, have you ever thought about, or are you open to the idea of creating an extra income with Doterra? And that was it. And she just started asking those questions way more. One of the things that Erika Uorre mentioned on our call was that all business is conversations, right? So you can tell the health of a business based on how many conversations you are having about, your business, oils, building your business, finding new builders. Was there anything else that stood out to you, Kirsten, about the simplicity of some of those questions?
The last question, I was actually going to type them in the chat box in case anybody missed it, so I'll do that now. But the last question was, are you ready to get started? So, and I just got to thank the last lovely lady that was just speaking. I think that sounds
Mindy.
like fun, Mindy. And Catherine is like, can we hang out? I think it's so much better when you make it like a game. Like, what if you're just like, oh, I'm going to play a game, and here's the rules of the game. You got to go out, you got to talk to people, you got to ask them for questions, and you got to see how many people you can speak to, right? And get some tough skin and elevate your belief in what you're doing and where you're going. The biggest thing that I got from Eric's conversation the other day was this: when he was describing what it feels like sometimes, not always, but sometimes what it feels like to teach a class, right? Like, and he's going through like, you got to talk your new recruit out of the closet because only 3 people came out of the 25. And like, you made $47. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how are you describing what this is like all the time, right? And if that's all it is, then it's not worth it. Like, that's not worth it. I don't want to do that. There's got to be something else better, right? But when he described all of us finding a love for teaching that class and having multiple people on your team doing those small classes, right? That's when you create that duplication. And it really reminded me of what it felt like in the beginning of my business as well. When I was teaching one class, some of it was good, some of it was really bad. And yet I would get a phone call from one of my other builders in my team that said, hey, I just had a class. Some of it was good, some of it was really bad, and we duplicated that. And so when he explained it, when he compared it to changing diapers, I was like, oh, I don't want to change diapers like that for $47, but I do want to change diapers like that for creating a diamond organization. And if you believe that that's how a diamond organization is created, by that persistent teaching and inviting on repeat, then you'll teach and invite on repeat forever, right? But it goes back to that belief piece. And so I think I would love to hear maybe from somebody who has lost some belief and then gained the belief back by massive action, right? That's really where you get like stronger. And that's another thing Eric talked about as well, is like that strength is built by having failures and then figuring out how to win after you failed, right? So I'm not like, I don't have all the answers right now, right? But I do think that it's so important to evolve and keep taking massive action while you're evolving.
What do you want to call on that has, did you?
Sorry. No, I'm not in a place right now. Sorry, guys. I actually just ran out of gas on the side of the road, picking up my kids from school. Like, I'm like pretty low right now, but we're here. I'm here. I've figured it out. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just
Cool.
like, I'm here and I'm excited.
No worries. Yeah. So the second part of the question, kind of in this realm of teaching classes and inviting and sampling, which we all know, right? I don't know if your expectation was going to come on tonight and there would be like some magical fairy dust. We are going to get to some, attraction marketing type stuff as well. But I wanted to just kind of throw this out. I know that when Jessica was on our team call, one of the things that brought a lot of energy to her going 2.0 was that she didn't really teach natural solutions classes, right? She taught a class called My Favorite Things, right? And maybe she just made up the name of that on the call with us. But she was like, listen, I want to teach things that impact me directly, right? The things that I love, the things that I could talk about any day of the week, right? And so she listed like 4 or 5 of the products that she really loved. And that was the class that she taught. The beginning of the class was like an intro to oils class, and she educated people. Obviously, we all know how to teach that class. But the second part of the class was, hey, these are the things that I can't live without. These are the routines that I have around them. And obviously finding out, what people's challenges were, so we don't have to, we can take the pieces of the natural solutions class that we really love that are important, right? But then just teaching about what we love, right? I thought that was really, if it's not fun, we don't want to continue to do it. So it has to be fun. So I thought that was another piece that was really cool that we pulled away from that. Is there anybody else? I know that we have some absolute incredible leaders on, Bailey, I saw on. Anybody else want to share in this realm of action marketing, things that are working, things that are like bringing a lot of new life to their business, or things that they're having fun with in this realm of teaching classes, sampling, kind of the normal types path that we have all learned that we know works, right? We know works. Anybody else want to unmute and share? I'm just kind of catching up on some of the chat. Okay, cool. If it's not fun, we got Laura piping in. And Laura Jacobs, you can always unmute and share wisdom here in this realm. Yeah, Catherine. Oh, there you go.
Here we go. Hey. So some things that I have been loving that's been working. There's been a lot of struggles, obviously, like coming into a different consumer behavior. I feel like it's not doTERRA. It's just like where we're at, like in terms of like what people are like their attention is at. But what I have found that has been amazing, especially since the changes they've made since leadership, is the conversation is so easy now. And it's so much easier to share, enroll, and help people like get started on the journey. So instead of like having to do the whole spiel about like, hey, you know why the $35 enrollment fee is so worth it? And like all this stuff, like the barriers are gone. So all of that is gone. So how we have focused on building and enrolling, it's just like so much easier in terms of that. So it's like, oh yeah, like let me share with you, our link and you know what I mean? Like my link and you get my discount, and it's just like that much easier. And then you have the support, and then we can help you go forward. And I found that is incredible. I'm curious, when doTERRA, if you have any insight, Kyle, when they started to notice that shift of like, hey, the enrollment fee has to like go, like, because I feel like they are so in tune, they're listening to us. They are, I feel like they 100% have our best interest in heart. And I love rallying behind that. It feels like we're all like, we're doing this all together, even if it's like a little bit different right now,
Yeah, I think they've known for a long time. I think they've been a little bit nervous and kind of worked through few different examples. I think ultimately they got a lot of feedback, and so I think they're continuing to watch it. There's been a lot of meetings and summits where it's come up. I know that they're still working on refining the Refer a Friend program, and maybe there's stuff at convention that they'll talk about. I can't ignore. I don't know if Laura did this as a teaser or what, but in the chat she says, "I'm loving the new class I built." Right, and so of course, there's all these comments like, "Well, Laura created a class. Like, what's this class?" I don't know, Laura, if you're able to kind of give like the general parameters around like what has you most excited about what you've created.
You bet. Yeah, happy to share. I think it's important to note that one, I share what I have on the app that I built, which is Enroll Pro. So anybody who's hungry to see it, all the goods and assets are already there, and they're already ready for updates with convention. Like, I'm always thinking ahead and ready for what's happening. You have to realize that I came from a coaching model. I was a holistic health coach for 12 years before I started Doterra. And imagine going from a world where every single protocol I built was for the person to a world where you sell the same stuff over and over again to everybody. That was a paradigm shift for me. And so I of course helped write the Natural Solutions class. So it's near and dear to my heart. But I'm going to say something really bold. I love that class. And what I love about it most is because it teaches people a framework. And if I could leave you with nothing else, it's this. How do you build a team and keep it? How do you have a steady paycheck? I've never missed my rank of Presidential Diamond since December of 2012, and I've never missed Double Diamond since April of 2015. I have missed Double Blue. That one's not as solid. But how do you do that? You have one chance sometimes to actually teach people how to decide that this is going to be who they are and what they do. And so you've got to introduce some sort of a framework in which they can and make decisions for themselves. So my first plan is, how can I teach this person to think and solve for themselves? If this is the only doTERRA class they ever hear, then how can I teach them that? So the shelves in the Natural Solutions class, they're that. The shelves are the most important part. The decision is to have daily habits, to engage in self-care, and always have OTCs on the shelf in your cabinet for when life goes sideways. That's the plan. And so then I would want to populate those three areas so that I'm able to live all three of those aspects of my life. And that's what that class is executing on. The one thing about the class that never quite worked for me, and again, authoring it, this is a big confession, is that we started talking about oils first. It's a little backwards for me, to be honest. And so the new class I've written, I poured myself into metabolic health and studying and using the products. And so it's based on metabolic health. That's the premise, because if you heard my Terra Talk last year, metabolic health is the umbrella. It's the foundation, insulin, glucose management, and the whole umbrella of metabolic health. It encompasses virtually everything in your health. And so does that mean I'm selling MetaPower kits? Yes, but not only. So the class is simply telling people where we are, what's the problem, what's the gap, and spending a little bit of time on that, especially health span, lifespan, like really solving for longevity and a quality of life, but with some specifics, like diving into metabolic health, for example, and just kind of opening up the wound and letting people see just how problematic it is right now for the population of planet Earth, and then diving into the solutions. And I've always been such a fan of a wellness pyramid. And I don't care if you call it a pyramid or not, I'm not worried about that. That doesn't bother me. So it's our wellness lifestyle, and then showing them that everybody needs gut health. Everybody needs micronutrients. That's step one. Everybody needs to support metabolic activity. So I actually break it into metabolism and macronutrient utilization. And then everybody needs a customized plan. And that's my 3 steps. That's it. Everything goes from there. And what I'm closing with is a Healthy Habits kit and a Natural Solutions kit. I call it my signature program. And most of my enrollments are based on that. I've just done a bunch of new recruiting for my downline. I have new builders. I'm busy attracting builders right now who are attracting builders. And I'm just having so much fun with a very set process. I know exactly what we're doing. It's making it super easy to launch builders because I'm not all over the place with some nebulous idea. Like, that's why I built the way I built back in the day. It was because I did one thing really, really well, taught people how to do it, and duplication was wild.
Amazing. Any questions for Laura? Laura is always a wealth of inspiration. I'm grateful, Laura, for sharing, kind of going through that framework. So why don't you summarize? Why don't you do the summary version, like what are the 3 parts of the class? So that if people didn't do Enroll Pro or something, they could kind of conceptually get around like the main portions of the class.
Well, so you always have to, I do pipes, right? You have to have an invite, and the invite that I use, it helps them see, like I'm tackling the main things that everybody wants: energy, sleep, cognition, weight, mood. You hit the things in the invite and bring them in. And then I have a pre-video that stirs the pot on the problem. And the problem is the kinds of things that Doterra was focusing on last year, but I tightened it up into a really, really tight model of like, let's unpack the problem. And then the solution is, it's the wellness pyramid. 1, build a foundation, gut health, which is the 2 products everybody knows, right? Probiotic, our PB Assist, and our enzymes with lifelong vitality. The second tier is macronutrient utilization, AKA support metabolism. That's the MetaPower kit. And then it's customization. So the second step in my process is to have them take a quiz, and it's called a metabolic health and lifestyle quiz. And it absolutely helps me close them, because they can either show them how everything in those 2 kits will cater to their needs and wants, or I can do some upselling and even some add-ons beyond that. So it's super, super simple. Believe it or not, it's so simple.
Awesome.
And it works amazing.
Awesome. So I think, again, just making sure that like whatever you're teaching, that it is something that you love, whether it's a favorite things, whether it's, it sounds like, Laura saw some holes that she filled for herself. Right. And so super grateful, Laura. Thank you very much.
Kyle, not to be a mic hopper.
Yeah, sure.
But I just realized I should probably explain what I meant by bouncing from natural solutions to this and thinking things were backwards, and it's this. If you look at what sells the most, like what do people keep buying over and over and over again every single month, the consumables, they're most often our supplements. And so I decided to start them off with a supplement base and then teach them about oils. So what was backwards for me is I wasn't teaching a health model with rules. I just started teaching about oils. And so I've switched that around, and the oils are the next part of the conversation. They're not the first part of the conversation. That way I'm giving them a framework of the lifestyle, and then all the supplements and the oils fit into the lifestyle. And that I like better, frankly.
Awesome. Thank you again, Laura. I hope that we get to hear more about that, maybe a convention or Empowered Success Talk. Or I want to switch gears with kind of the time that we have left and just kind of have a conversation about attraction marketing, right? Creating content that adds value, having conversations, inviting and enrolling. How many, I'm just curious, are there any of our US founders that did most of their enrolling through social media? And I'm just going to kind of look in the chat and just kind of watch the chat and see if anyone responds. Eric talked about this a little bit, and this transition that's kind of taken place, right? Where most of us are used to kind of building in that traditional mode, and we've kind of had to evolve into this new realm, right? And kind of having this love-hate relationship with content, creating new daily habits around having conversations and inviting people to do things that are less intimidating online, right? They're not going to, most of them won't come to a Zoom, or, they're making decisions really quickly based on content that they see or conversations that you had. And so we went through probably, and I made a list of some of the tools that can kind of help in this arena. But there's 2 tools that we created for our team, and I'm happy to share them with you guys. They're completely free. But about a year and a half ago, we saw one of the things that we saw that we're going to continue to kind of build out and develop is just people not knowing what to post, right? Not really knowing what to post, how to clean up their profile, how to create reels, how to do everything in those places. And so we rolled out like a program for our team called Social Wellness Advocate, where every day for 60 days, you get content sent to you that you can adjust, you can tweak, you can change. Once a week, there's a strategy session that teaches you either how to integrate Linktree, how to use call to actions in your reels, how to know what stuff to create reels about, what how to find out like what trends are and how to use audios and everything that kind of goes into that. And then we've continued to add to it. But you can go to socialwellnessadvocate.com. You can also text. I'll just bring it up here and I'll post this. You can actually get all of the days via text message. And I'll type, you can just text, you text the word social to, let's see, it is 833-215. And the only thing that's ever sent out to this list is just the social media posts every day, right? So I think that one of the things, did I get one too many numbers in there? Text social, here, I'll do it again. Social to 833. All right, I think that's better. I think I had, nope, there was 35. So it's the same. Yeah, it would only be for the US. The text message would only work for the US, right? But again, this just kind of gives you an idea of, again, what your daily habits should be on social media, what type of content you should be posting. I think that one of the biggest problems, we actually have it through email too, Cindy. If you just go to socialwellnessadvocate.com, you can get it, you can subscribe to the emails, and it's just the same thing, but in emails. Okay, so I think that one of the most important things when it comes to social media is that people need to understand that there's really kind of 5 categories of content that you have to focus on. And I just wrote them down so that I could remember them, but it's personal development, right? So if you're constantly posting about doTERRA, nobody really, they get tired of that. They don't want to hear that. They wonder where you went. And so personal development, your brand or whatever your message is. And often your message is not doTERRA, right? Your message is completely different. I know for Kirsten right now, her message is Kingdom Essentials, right? Like how to help women who believe in God, who are entrepreneurs, how they can combine faith, with building their business. So a lot of times your message is whatever your brand is, right? The third thing is product, right? So you can talk about product and business, and then funny in there. So rotating between those 5 categories. So the posts that you get through Social Wellness Advocate, that's how they're built, actually. They're built around those 5 things. So you're going to get some stuff that is product, some stuff that is business, some stuff that, is just funny for engagement. And it's kind of up to you to customize it. And one of the things that I thought was important, I know that I heard Mindy talk behind social media. Posting on social media is not what attraction marketing is. Typically, in the beginning of attraction marketing, most of the work that you are doing is action marketing. So you are connecting with new people, you're adding new accounts, you're complimenting people on Reels, you are asking questions, you're building relationships just like you would in any other type of environment, right? You're just doing it on social media. And so if you are just posting and doing nothing else, it would be better for you to not post and to just add 5 new people, comment on 5 people's Reels, compliment people and invite people than it would be to just post. Just posting will not do anything for you for a long, long time. You have both the process with creating content on social media. And most of the time, your most powerful content is not going to be related to doTERRA, right? It's going to be related to you just expressing the things that are the most important to you and dripping doTERRA in between all of those different things, right? The other thing that that our team uses, and again, guys, you can use it, you cannot use it, but one of the things that we did a little while ago, and I'll just share this with you, the 5 categories here. Somebody wants to write them down there. This is just on this is your personal Instagram profile, your personal Facebook page, right? These are your personal and the cool thing about Social Wellness Advocate is that each week it teaches, we included a lesson to help you find more people, right? So like if you wanted to start building a team in, some city in Europe, or if you wanted to build the team in your own local area, right? It teaches you how to use social media to find people in that specific area that you can build relationships with and that you can communicate with, okay? So that's Social Wellness Advocate. I'm going to share my screen on, and this is, again, this is what we're going to do. So one of the things that the two assignments that I gave you at the beginning were decide the process you're going to follow and then create an accountability group, right? With whoever you're going to do this challenge with on Saturday. And so for us on our team, one of the things that we could see was that our team was not going to evolve and learn how to do most of the stuff on social media, right? We would have to recruit new people that really knew how to do that. It was too big of a leap. There were certain things that they could be comfortable doing, but like they weren't going to become pros at creating reels, right? They weren't going to be, they weren't going to do any of those things. And so we wanted to find something that would bridge the gap. And so we ended up partnering with a group to build an app. Seems like building an app is the thing to do, but this is completely free. Okay, anybody can download it for free. You can go to, it's just empowersocial.com, and I just want to show you how we're going to be, whether you empowersocial.com. Okay. And whether you are going to use this same process or something similar, but this is the process that we're going to use. Okay. So when we do this challenge coming up, this is what we're going to do. So this is a free account. This is a free version. This is just what we're training our team on. Each week we spend half the time doing inspirational things, and the other half of the time, if my team's on here, we spend in the app. Okay. And the reason why is because all of the action marketing things are great and all of the attraction marketing things are great. But if you're not pulling people into a system that is intelligently telling you who you should speak to, what things they're engaging on that you have posted or that you have done, and what you should do next, it just becomes overwhelming, right? And so our team, on Saturday, we're going to be going to under resources. We're going to go under product. It's organized in pipes. And we're going to be sending out one of two surveys. The first survey that we're going to send out, and I'll put this link in the chat. You can create something similar to this if you want. But it's a survey. It's just a really quick survey. We use surveys a lot. And the reason why we use surveys a lot is because if you're doing a reel about natural health, right? You can say, hey, I'm looking for 5 people to take a survey, right? You can swipe up to take the survey. And when they swipe up, it takes them to this survey that our team uses. They answer questions in here, right? And as soon as that person finishes answering the questions, they get an email notification and the app tells them like, hey, this new person, just did XYZ. Okay. And so the app, you can see this little flame right here. This is not my account. I can log into my account so you can see, but the app will tell you this little flame right here will increase as people engage. So you know who to follow up with, right? So if you know somebody's filled out the survey, they've clicked on a couple of your emails, then the app will say, hey, listen, you need to follow up with this person. Okay. The other survey, and I'll post both of these surveys if you want, but the other survey that we post a lot is the additional income stream survey, right? So we have 2 surveys to match the 2 funnels that we bring people into doTERRA. We have an essential oil survey, right? That people use that they can come in with. And then we have this additional income stream survey, right? And it's very neutral, right? You can use it. Here's the different ways that we use surveys. We use surveys to reach out to influencers on social media. or somebody that we might, be interested in speaking to. And after we develop the relationship, we'll say, hey, listen, I'm doing some market research about what things people are doing to create additional income. Would you be open to taking the survey? Right? And they say, yes, that's awesome. They take the survey. We get to capture their information at the bottom of the survey. And now they're a contact that we can communicate with, right? And we have these different call to actions. So the important thing that I would not really mattering if you use an app, if you don't use an app, but I think it is really important that you determine at least 2 resources that you could use, 2 call to actions that you could use from all of the attraction marketing that you're doing, right? So you can say, hey, go to a link in my bio and there's this survey that you can take about additional income, right? And it's just this very non-threatening way for you to continue to gather leads, to nurture those people, and then to be able to have conversations with those people. And so, again, this is what we use on our team. It's free. There's a free account that, like I said, comes with the surveys that anyone can use. And the way that it's divided up, if you get in here, it'll walk you through everything. There's a wizard that helps you do everything and kind of understand how to send resources and all those different things. But the point is to make sure that if you're going to do stuff online, that you have those 2 pieces. So I just want to pause for a second. I know that's kind of a lot to jump into. Any questions about using surveys in the challenge on Saturday? I mean, you could technically create a survey with Google, with like a Google form. There's services you can pay for, but if you're looking for something free, you could use a Google form. And if you want, I'm trying to think how I can, let me grab the surveys here. And I will see if I can just copy it and paste it into the chat. And then you can take the questions, you can do whatever you like with them. Okay, so there's one. There's the product one. And then let me grab the opportunity one. And the cool thing about surveys is that you can create them and for those of you who aren't familiar with ChatGPT, how many of you are familiar with ChatGPT? Know what I'm talking about when I say that? Okay, if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, just go onto YouTube and type in what is ChatGPT. Let ChatGPT create the quiz for you or the survey for you. Okay, here I'll post.
Or they can just copy the one that you just gave them, right?
Yeah, they can copy it. Yep, there's 2. There's
go.
2. Yeah. The empowersocial.com is where you get a copy of the app, and the 2 survey links are in there.
Code, Kyle, is there a group code that they need?
Yeah, it's just Empower. It's EM. Here, I'll put the group code.
It's EMPWR.
Yeah, EMPWR is the group code. Yeah. And so anyway, play around with it. I would encourage you to play around with the surveys, whether you use them in the app or not, and to have fun, like using surveys to make it less threatening. If you feel like that's part of the business that intimidates you, to get people in to have more conversations. I know I don't think she's on here tonight with us, but we have, there's a woman on our team that uses surveys in her Facebook group that she has for, potential enrollments. And every once a week or every other week, she'll post one of the surveys for essential oils. She'll post one of the surveys for additional income. And every week she has 1 or 2 new people that are interested in building the business with her, right? And it's just an easy way to bridge that. So I know we're at about an hour. I know, Kirsten, do you guys need me to pick you up?
Honestly, our 2 boys just took the bus home.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to say something here. First of all, Thank you for putting that whole presentation together, Kyle. You're awesome. I learned from you, and I'm married to you, so you're amazing. I think here's what we're gonna do, right? Activators in my top two, I think, of my strengths. And we actually wanted to mention strengths as well here. We were kind of laughing, like, what would Eddie Vila say if he was leading this whole group of amazing wellness advocates today, right? So the answer is always, you really need to lead with your strengths. Like, lead with the part of this that feels the best to you, right? So we've talked about a lot of things. There's a few options, right? And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the recruiting challenge with Eric with like full force. I love what, and I'm sorry, like names right now, or just, was it Mindy that was like awesome and went and enrolled 36 people in like 4 days or something? Anyway, I love what I got from you, because you said, I just went and talked to everyone. I'm going to make the recruiting challenge like a game. Okay, that's number one. I'm going to make it like a game. It's going to be the funnest thing I've done all month, right? Way more fun than running out of gas on the side of the road. I'll tell you that. Number two, I'm going to be very clear about my product presentation or my product survey, like Kyle suggested. I feel like surveys are a much less threatening way to invite someone to engage with you. So I'm going to have my product survey, and I'm going to have my business survey. Now, I like to use the Empower app because it keeps track of every single thing I do, and it tells me when I need to follow up with those people and if they actually took my survey and all that, right? I like to keep everything clear. But like Kyle said, if you just want to create a free, Google form, just create your own survey, copy the one we gave you, or create your own. That's a great way to engage with people. And the other thing that I just want to say is, remember that there's already so much created on doTERRA's website. There's already so much done for you with the Natural Solutions class or Enroll Pro, like all the things that she does. It's like, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You just have to be willing to open your mouth and believe that doTERRA really is that gem that it is. You feel it is, and you love it. Like Kyle said, a lot of us are coasting on our love for doTERRA, and we need to combine that love with the skills that it takes to consistently show up in today's marketplace. And the way that you do that is by embracing surveys, technology, and consistency, and just showing up in the way that you always have, right? There's not some big secret that somebody's keeping from you. I've seen all these ads lately that's like, oh, what's your upline not telling you about attraction marketing? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, we're telling you everything. There's nothing we're not telling you, right? And that's all for free in socialwellnessadvocate.com. It's done for you, all the posts. If you are the kind of person that doesn't want to think about what you got to post on social media, go and take it all for free. If you are the kind of person that wants to think about it all and do it all yourself, still get the framework from Social Wellness Advocate and then make it your own. And then use the surveys and the 2 presentations. Decide what your product presentation is, decide what your business presentation is, and go for it. I believe in every single one of you. Kyle and I love you. Seriously, you guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing your heart and your inspiration with us. We're definitely all on this journey together for the long haul. So thank you so much.
All right. Well, with that, we'll finish up. Again, if your teams haven't registered or you want them to register, I'm just going to put, I'm just going to put in our team monthly page that has everything. I just get tired of sending out all the different links to everything. So each month,
great idea. Did you see that?
Do you think you could still?
That's having a 10-minute recorded product and business
Yeah,
video.
for sure.
Useful
Yeah, for sure.
That's a really good idea.
So here's the thing. I don't know what to totally prepare for on Saturday, but I just thought to myself, I hate going through a training and then wishing that I wish I would have had the opportunity to collaborate and kind of brainstorm and prepare before the training so that I could just take action, right? Like, I don't have to wait for things. So that was really the unstructured purpose of this call, really, is to just get you thinking so that by the time Saturday shows up, like, you have a plan, right? That you can confidently express that you're excited about. And then a couple weeks later, we have convention. right? And I'm just like, man, what an awesome opportunity to combine these two events and to like really crush it the last 2 to 3 months of the year, and just totally change things, just change the energy of everything in our businesses. So that eoemembers.com, I'll read. It's the link that I'll post the recording to this on. It's the link that everything that our team, I didn't create something special for anything else. So it's just all on that team page, and all of the stuff we create, right? Like use it, take it, like recreate it, call it whatever you guys want to call it. Like, it doesn't matter to us. The purpose is that together we can